Welcome back. If you've been following this series on technical report writing, you'll know by now that a well-structured report isn't just about having the right sections. It's about making sure the argument inside those sections actually flows and makes sense to the reader. Today we're talking about the body of the report, and specifically the different models or organizing strategies you can use to structure it. This is something a lot of writers overlook, and it makes a massive difference. I'm drawing on the technical report writing manual from the course, so if you have a copy, pages 35 to 38 are what we're working from today. Let's get into it. Why models matter? Here's the thing. Before you write a single word of your report body, you need to ask yourself, what is the most logical way to present this information? The body of your report is where you lay out your argument, your findings, your analysis. If you structure it randomly, you lose your reader. But if you choose a model that matches the purpose of your report, the argument almost writes itself. The manual identifies 9 key models. Let's walk through each one in turn, as is evident on this page. Model 1 is problem, cause, solution. We're looking at it at the top there. It's the top one because it's the most popular. It's the most popular because generally engineering and construction, where we teach our courses, is mostly about solving problems, meeting challenges. This is probably the most common model, and it's used most often in prescriptive reports, the kind where you're being asked to fix something. The structure is simple. You identify the problem, you explain the cause, and you propose a solution. You'll see that the example is, this report investigates worker fatigue at Zara mine, that's a fictitious mine, due to inadequate fan performance at 5,000 meters below surface, and makes recommendations for improvement. You can see immediately the problem is the fatigue, the cause is the fan performance, and the solution are the recommendations. Clean, logical, easy to follow. Now the second one, comparison and contrast. Use this when you're comparing 2 or more things against a set of criteria. This report compares MS Office with Apple software in terms of cost, after-sales service, and user-friendliness. Notice how the criteria are defined up front. It's not just enough to talk about comparison and contrast. You need to choose certain criteria, and there they are. Cost, after-sales service, and user-friendliness. Notice, it's very important that you are measuring both options against the same things. All right, how about the next model? Model 3, advantages and disadvantages, also referred to as positives and negatives. This model is similar to comparison and contrast, but here you're usually looking at one entity from both sides, its upsides and downsides. This report investigates advantages and disadvantages of a work-from-home scheme with particular reference to productivity, cost saving, and human resource benefits. Notice once again the criteria. It's a balanced model, useful when you need to present a fair picture without appearing biased toward a particular outcome. Now, let's look at the next model. Model 4, cause and effect. Where PCS looks forward to a solution, cause and effect looks backward at history. You're examining why something happened and what resulted from it. This report describes the causes and effects of the Americana strike with particular reference to human rights, labor legislation, and leadership. I think a tragic strike that was, 13 or 14 years ago in South Africa. The model works well when the primary task is to explain the situation rather than resolve it. It's therefore descriptive. Very important that you understand it. You're looking backwards. It's going to be a descriptive report. Okay, let's look at the next model. I often say it's for the lazy people, but I joke. It really does work well. Use the calendar, the chronological model. It's straightforward. You're using the calendar as your structure. Events or data are presented in time order. This report examines revenues and costs of sales over the period 2001 to 2004. Chronological works well for trend analysis, project reviews, or any report where the sequence of events matters. Okay, let's go on to priority. The priority model is often used in project management contexts. You rank your content by order of importance or urgency. Critical items first, lesser items later, and in a WBS this would be critical versus non-critical tasks. This report describes the shutdown procedure at Mill 23 in 3 phases ranked by critical function. This is excellent when your reader needs to act on information because they immediately know what matters most. Okay, now when all of these models are exhausted, you want to consider the general specific model. By that I mean none of them really suffice, so you want to go general specific. This model works by brainstorming all the relevant points first and then grouping them into families or themes. Okay, so general specific is about doing a proper brainstorm. Think of it like a mind map. You start broad and then you funnel down to the specific detail under each theme. The manual refers to a flexi-time example to illustrate this. And the key point is that the structure emerges from the content rather than being imposed on it. It's a very organic way to build a report. Okay, right, now we're getting to the very hackneyed and overused toward the SWOT analysis, but first we must deal with IPO. The model comes directly from systems thinking. You examine the inputs, the resources or data, and the processes, the methods or actions taken, and the outputs, the results or the outcomes. This report examines the production efficiency of ABC manufacturing, detailing the inputs, processes, and outputs involved with particular reference attention to resource utilization, workflow optimization, and output quality. Notice once again the criteria. It's particularly useful in engineering and operational reports when you're tracing how something works from beginning to end. And as I hinted at, the well-used and very ubiquitous strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You've probably come across SWOT before. It's a technical report created at a balanced view by looking at both internal factors, strengths and weaknesses, and external factors, opportunities and threats. This report analyzes the strategic position of XYZ Corporation, focusing on its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, with particular emphasis on competitive advantages, market dynamics, and risk factors. Notice we've added criteria again.